Hey, Matt.
Hey, how's it going?
Morning. I'm good. I'm good. How about yourself?
Oh, good. It's a nice day today, so probably good.
Thanks. I'm in a slightly different place. I don't know, for whatever reason, it's super warm, so I decided to move to a different room. Got my background up. No one wants to see my junk.
Fair enough. Yeah, I blur mine for that reason.
Hey,
There's
guys.
some stuff back there.
Hey, Pedro.
How's it going? I think we'll wait for some of the other members to join. I'm actually not sure if Alara's joining this.
Hello, everyone.
Hey,
Hi.
how's it going?
All good? Thank you.
Cool.
Sorry, sure. It looks like Thomas is. Oh, perfect.
Hey, Tomas, how's it going?
Good. How are you? Haven't seen you for a while.
Yes, I'm good. I'm good, thanks. Have you been doing any hikes lately with good weather?
Yeah, we went to Chilcotin last weekend for biking. It's
Oh,
awesome.
nice.
It's beautiful.
Nice.
Mm.
Yeah, I've never been up there.
So it's been a while since I've been to one of these. I guess I'm not sure if all the normal people are going to show up. I know Casey is traveling and Sean is on parental leave right now. So I thought other people who are going to join, but maybe we'll give it another minute or so, and then we'll probably get started.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the exact format is. I haven't been to a community meeting in a few months myself, so I'm not sure what the exact format is anymore. But
We'll give it another minute to see if any stragglers join, and if not, then we'll just go ahead. Eric.
Hey, Matt.
Eric,
Set the argument to stop auto joining my sound on meetings. I don't like that. I want to unmute.
You don't want everybody to know what's going on in your background?
Yeah. There we go.
hey Nathan, hey Walter.
Hey, everyone.
Hey guys, anybody know if we're waiting on anybody else? For those who just joined, Casey and Sean are away, so it'll be probably a little bit shorter of a meeting, and I guess I'll be pushing this along a little bit. So since I haven't been here in a while, sorry if it's a little jerky the whole way, but I guess, yeah, let's get started. Unless there's anybody we know we're waiting for, but it doesn't seem like it. So I I guess before we really get into it, anybody want to take notes?
I'll try to.
Okay. You have the link to the notes, right?
I can probably find it.
I can get that for you real quick if you need. Oh, no, seems like you got it. Perfect.
Yeah, okay. I'll put it in the Zoom Slack or chat too.
Awesome, thank you. All right, so yeah, hey everybody, welcome to the community meeting this August 10th. Yeah, like I mentioned before, Casey and Sean are out, so we'll be running this with a different crew this time. So for everybody who hasn't met, I guess, everybody else who's on the call and not normally here, I'm Matt. I work on the Calico team. I think probably everybody else should probably do a quick intro, so it's not just entirely strangers, but yeah, I guess, Lawrence, you want to introduce yourself next?
Yeah, sure. My name is Lawrence. I also work at Tigera on Calico. I work on a bunch of different things. I think mostly these days I've been working on the Windows component of Calico. So yeah, that's what I do.
Shall I go next?
Yeah, go for
Yeah,
it.
hey guys, I'm Pedro. Yeah, I also work at Tigera at the Calico team. Yeah, lately I've been working on adding IPv6 support to WireGuard, which I intend to demo today. Just a quick thing.
Maybe I can go next.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, I'm Parth. I'm a Calico Big Cat working at Cloudera, and this is my first community meeting. So I'm just here to learn and observe, and just to be a part of the community and see in what ways I can learn and contribute further. So hello to everyone again.
Hey, welcome.
Hey, my name is Thomas, and I work on the eBPF data plane, and I'm kind of sitting in for Sean today.
I'm Eric. I also work for Tigera. Work on the operator, the Tigera operator, and our cloud product. So that's what I'm here for.
Hi, my name is Walter. I am a Calico Big Cat. Just like to learn more about the new things in Calico, eBPF, things like that. So I can tell the others the new features. And I don't work for Calico.
So I guess I turn.
Sure, go for it.
I'm Nathan. I'm working for Cisco, and I've been working on the Calico VPP data plane integration, and still working on that.
Hey everyone, my name is Eddie. I work at Cisco as well. Cisco on the Calico VPP project.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Thanks everybody. It's good to see the VPP data plane team. Your faces, I've seen the usernames bit, so I do recognize a little bit, but cool, good to see you guys. Yeah, I guess with all that done, I guess we'll just kind of jump in. So I guess probably the first order of business is to kind of check in on a lot of the status of things. So on the Calico front, for I guess the highest priority on everybody's mind is the v3.24 release. And so that release is on the horizon, should be out pretty much any day now. We're in the process of validating kind of some last fixes. So most development is done. I think you can also see that there's release branches cut. So most of the most of the features and things will kind of be up in there. And so I guess kind of a overview of some of the features there. We're expanding our IPv6 support to kind of include WireGuard now. So that's kind of a big thing that we're adding there. And I think probably the marquee feature of that, kind of a lot of the smaller features that go into that are a little bit more for, I guess, convenience. So we added the ability to split IP pools with Calico Cuddle. So there have been some asks for that. Obviously, IP pools have been fairly difficult to work with. So now there's a way to do that, and we can, I think I plan on doing a demo of how that works a little bit later. Kind of another little small piece there is we've added IPAM blocks to our API. So prior, I think it was all kind of our internal API. If you had any sort of external system that needed to keep track of any IPAM information, it was very difficult. You probably used some combination of Calico Cuddle and trying to, I guess, get the information you could get out of Calico Cuddle IPAM show. But now you can actually see the actual, I guess, block affinity information, and that will actually give you, the information directly. That API is in read only, just because Calico will be maintaining all the IPAM stuff. But if you have any monitoring, anything else like that, that's to kind of help integrate that with kind of Calico. And I guess kind of another thing too is we've prepped the operator for kind of the transition from pod security policies in, I guess, KAS 1.25 is where it'll officially be removed, even though it was deprecated, I think, in 1.20. So we're going to move to, I think it's pod security standards with 1.25. So that's kind of another change that we've kind of made that hopefully that transition will be fairly smooth. Cool. I guess kind of, I guess before I move on, any other questions on 3.24? Anything anybody particularly looking for, or?
Matt, I was gonna say, I think, see, did you work on, no, who worked on it? Lawrence, did you, there's been changes in the operator for how, for setting affinity and tolerations.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To that.
Yeah. So other pieces there. I was gonna leave that for some of the operator pieces later, but this is perfect too.
Okay,
No, this
cool.
is
Sorry.
absolutely, no, this is great. So yeah, we can chat about that too. So yeah, there have been other updates to the operator to allow for, I guess, more flexibility with your installation. So node affinities, node selectors, different tolerations, allowing custom labels and annotations, and there's an entire list of things that Lawrence has added. So I'm sure you can add to all of that, Lawrence. But that's kind of the high level. So the goal is to give more flexibility with the installations that the operator can, I guess, install. So for lack of a better word. So yeah, I think that's at least the big ticket items in 3.24. Now there's always bug fixes and other things. And when we release, please check out the release notes to see everybody who's worked on that and all of the, I guess, bug fixes that went into that as well.
Man, I think I missed one of the things when I was trying to share my screen. Maybe you can go back and add it later.
Yeah, I'll go back and add it. I have my own notes, so I'll just make the whole thing, I guess, match up or sync. So,
Thanks.
yeah, no problem. And then I think the other kind of big ticket item is patch releases. So Casey has released a bunch of different patch releases. So I think that is v3.20.6, v3.21.6, v3.22.4, and v3.23.3. So a ton of them. Purpose being mostly to fix up a bunch of CVEs that we had found, but there's also an additional amount of bug fixes in there as well. So it differs per release, but for more details, you can kind of check out the release notes there, and it should tell you what exactly the bug fixes and other things you're getting with those are. Let's see. Already went over some of the operator stuff. How about, I think another thing too is, with v3.24 wrapping up, we're going to also begin development on v3.25. So there's not too much I can say there yet, since kind of some of the, we're still talking about what would be some of the larger features that we're aiming to target there. But I think kind of as a little bit of a sneak peek, one of the things that we've have our eye on is I guess, shoot, what is the word for that? I guess Calico support for the upcoming admin network policies. And so there's a Kubernetes enhancement doc out for admin network policies. You can check the Kubernetes page for more details, but essentially it's the idea is that network policies are for developers. They'll set up whatever they want, and there needs to be some way to set up some sort of default policies that may overwrite or kind of take priority over anything developers might do with normal network policy, or kind of just provide default behavior that developers may write network policies to change for their specific components. So it's going to add a lot more granularity to network policies. And so one thing we're thinking about doing is kind of moving Calico network policy in a very similar direction, so that we'd have that similar granularity of control as well. So I think that's probably all I can really say about that. Cool, I guess. Let's see. I guess that's, and I think, yeah, that's it for Calico updates as well. So I guess any updates on the operator front, Eric?
Let's see. I'm trying to. Sorry, I try to keep these updates to open source, and I can't. Trying to think of any of the recent ones I've seen will be open source or open source side, or just enterprise changes. I don't think so. Or at least I don't have anything in mind. Oops, sorry. The one thing I wanted to ask about the pod security policy to pod security standards that you mentioned earlier, is that is it supporting both right now, or is it we have both right now?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's both right now. It determines whether or not to go with one versus the other based off of the, I believe it's the existence of the pod security policy CRD in your API server.
Okay.
So
All right. Actually, one thing that I just thought of is the And now it's escaped me. Oh, we adjusted the operator is we've adjusted the status reporting that we use for the Tigera status. We've changed the conditions on that to be or well, we've changed those also to be the V1. I guess we were V1 beta or maybe our own previously, but also with that we have started adding status to our resource, the not just Tigera status, but in the controlling CR resources. So like the installation resource will now have a status. I think this will be in 324. And that there was, yeah, I can probably dig it up, a request that we support that because I guess there's some tooling that knows how to watch those and it'll integrate better with those statuses and condition. Specifically, it's the conditions that that are used. So we've kind of taken some of what we were putting in Tigera status. We're still putting in Tigera status, but we're also putting it on the controlling CRs. Yeah, I think that's the only other thing I can think of right now. There's lots of people putting stuff in, so I don't. I'm not super involved in all of it.
Oh, that's perfect. That is perfect. Awesome. Thank you. I guess any updates from the eBPF side, Tomas?
Yes, actually a couple updates. So we've been working on a bunch of stuff. Mostly, or one big part of that was diagnosability when things go wrong, so that we can look into what's happening. So the big point here is the policy dump. So previously, unlike this IP tables where you can just have a peek at what the IP tables rules are, the policy programs were very much opaque, big binary blob. So now the user can actually dump the disassembled programs with some annotations. So one can actually go and read it in some reasonable form, what is being executed at what interface. So I think that's going to be a big improvement. Another related item is counters. So we now allow the user to dump counters which show how many packets went through which part of the data plane, whether packets were dropped, for what reason, and so on. So that gives you some, or the user, some more insight in where things may go wrong. Related to that is some work in progress is counters that actually count which policy rules were hit. And it's almost done. And that's going to show up in the policy dumps. So as we annotate the disassembled policy, we also say, okay, this rule has been hit that many times, this rule has denied that many packets, and so on. So I'm really looking forward to that. Another future, a little bit further in
Thomas, can I ask?
Sure.
Was that two different kinds of? What was the first? Were there two different kinds of counters you were
Yeah,
mentioning?
this is two different kinds of counters. The first ones are like generic counters where, say, an error happens, like a parsing error happens somewhere in the eBPF program. So we say, okay, we dropped a packet because it was malformed packet or because we didn't see a route or something. And the second set of counters, that's specifically for policies, the policy programs. and that's being worked on, almost done. So it's definitely going to be part of 3.25. The one thing that I personally would love to see in 3.25 is being able to kind of narrow down the fire hose of logging, so that we can say, okay, please give us the logs only for certain flows, sort of in like the TCP dump fashion, because that would allow us to incredibly speed up diagnosis of customer issues or user issues. So that's my big wish. The other thing that went in is map upgrades. So as we change the map format between Calico versions, upgrading is not straightforward, but now with the map upgrades, we can go from, say, a contract version 3 to contract version 4. So the upgrades should be more or less seamless and less of disruption for the users. So that we, I think that's also something that we had long on our to-do list and finally landed. There's an issue around the connect down load balancer that's been in the data plane for a very long time and was mostly affecting UDP and DNS. So the issue was that when the DNS servers moved to some other IP, or the backends of a service moved to some other IP, we kind of get stuck in the selection, and there isn't really a good way how to go around that with the connect time load balancer, because the decision has been made and we are almost done with fix for that, which would allow these kind of programs to work without the connect time load balancer. The problem is that we were able to turn off the connect time load balancer globally before, but that has performance impact. That's one thing. And the other thing is that it's kind of essential for host network processes and pods. And so this issue should be resolved soon, and I'm pretty sure it will land in 3.25 as well. And something that's been long awaited by users, we have resumed the IPv6 work after some pause due to other more pressing tasks. And with that will also come a support for IPv4 options and similar things which required variable length headers. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all on the eBPF side. It's been pretty busy stretch. It's still going to be. If you have any questions on the eBPF, I'm happy to answer.
The IPv6 and IPv4 options, is that expected for 3.25?
No, that's probably going to take a little bit longer. The IPv4
Okay.
options, that's probably going to land in 3.25. The story here is that IPv6 has kind of variable length IP header with all the extensions. So based on this work, we will also tackle the IPv4 options, which we were dropping kind of until now. So that's going to be in 3.25, but IPv6, that's a longer run.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Cool. I guess doesn't look like there's any questions on that. I guess moving on, the VPP team, any updates there, regarding anything there?
There is not So not really, not very many outstanding things going on. We've kept the work on multi-net, adding the support for multiple networks, policies, and services. But that's a bit so orthogonal, meaning that those features are a bit VPP specific. And we also started looking at starting to test with 3.24, rebasing the patch that we're pending for a while. Getting everything in for the release that will probably follow. So we'll try to follow the Calico release by a week or so, depending on PTOs and the issues that we find on the way. On the hopefully not that much and not that many. And so on some features, mainly multi-net, we are still depending on a few batches where we want to upstream some changes in the way Felix behaves. But I guess being this close to the release, that will probably have to wait for the next cycle. We have, I think, Heidi, you have a discussion open with Casey, but we'll probably wait for him to come back, not harass him during this video. So yeah, but and from our standpoint, 324, the main thing that we are looking at is the WireGuard v6, and checking that. So we should have the support in VPP since a couple of versions, but it's still worth making sure that that things still work as they should.
Awesome. Yeah, that's important because I guess we haven't tested, I guess, regarding that. So yeah, so cool.
Nathan or Andy, feel free to get into this doc and update or fix anything that I got wrong.
Sure. Well, we'll do this. That looks good. Thanks.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you, Eric, for taking notes. Cool. I guess yeah, moving on. Hot issues. Anybody have any hot issues or anything that you've noticed, things that we should, take a look at with a little bit higher priority? Anything you want to shout out? I guess one thing I have is we had an issue that I guess was for some of the upgrade issues from moving from Calico 3.22 to 3.23. And this was something that was caused by, I guess, empty encapsulation modes. And so we put in a bunch of fixes, or I think we're putting in one more fix, and then we put in one earlier. We're putting in another to capture a different use case, but it still is about similar things for empty encapsulation modes. So the fixes are going in, and they should go out, I guess, with kind of the next set of patch releases. So if anybody is experiencing any issues from 3.22 to 3.23, I guess these fixes are on their way, and hopefully, I think there's some workarounds with kind of what the settings are on the encapsulation modes.
I think I can clarify a bit on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's just yeah, this will happen on an upgrade to 3.23, but only if I don't remember the exact version, but if you have an older version of Calico that created the IP pools and you're still running that, so you won't have these fields populated, and that's what happens. So it's just not any upgrade to 3.20 from 3.22 to 3.23 shouldn't be a problem most of the time. But
awesome. Okay, yeah, there's a I guess, in a little bit more detail there. So thanks for providing that, Pedro. Cool. Anybody else have anything? Okay, cool. I guess we can move on from there. Calico Heroes. Anybody noticed in the community they want to give a shout out to?
I'll shout out to the big cats that joined this meeting. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for showing up, guys. It's great to see the community like definitely taking part in everything. And yeah, your interest and the contributions and things really keep us going. So thank you so much.
Happy to be here.
I think similarly on that line too. I have to read it based off of username, so please forgive me, but I think it's Cyclinder. I'd like to give him a shout out. I noticed that he's been putting in various small bug fixes, like version updates, formatting issues, a lot of small things that we've kind of missed. So it's definitely really appreciated to kind of keep everything clean, things that we've missed and all of that. So I think in the past it's been, usually it's been like larger features, more well formed and more impactful things. But I think kind of the constant members of the community who are using everything, they're constantly keeping us, I guess, honest and keep improving things little by little. Also are kind of the heroes in our community as well. So I'd like to recognize him as well. Cool. Not sure if there's anybody else. All right. I think that's that. So I guess with kind of the advent of 3.24, since we're just kind of verifying the last part, we basically have demos for a lot of the 3.24 features. So we have Pedro and Lawrence here who have demos for IPv6 WireGuard. They have demos for a lot of the operator changes. I think I mentioned a little earlier that I'll demo some the split IP pool tool and functionality there. So we've got a bunch of demos this time. So Pedro, Lawrence, guys have any preference? Who wants to go first or anything?
I could start, I guess.
All right.
Let me share my screen, maybe. Yeah, so basically just a quick background. WireGuard, I see on its website, it calls itself a VPN. So it's a quick and easy way to do secure and fast tunnels. Let's say it is supported by Linux 5.10 onwards out of the box, and it's been, or 5.6, sorry, and it's been backported from like version 3 point something onwards as kernel modules that you can add. Calico already supports it for IPv4 currently, and yeah, the setup, you gotta like generate a public-private key pair and distribute those public keys to like the peers that you want to do, set up the peerings, and then use those interfaces, and then you got like a secure connection. Calico does all of that for you. Just have to enable it on the Felix configuration for IPv4. And what happens is we had only support for IPv4 traffic being tunneled over an IPv4 WireGuard interface. And with Calico 3.24, we're adding support for IPv6 traffic being routed through an IPv6 WireGuard interface. A quick demo, I have this cluster here just for nodes here on my local machine. Let me first edit the Felix config because I think, yeah, I got WireGuard enabled. So let's disable that. And sorry guys, I put some notes here. Let me just show based on the documentations. You can see here that we don't have any WireGuard information on our node status. Oh, this is not the one that I wanted. This is a better one from Calico Cuddle. Status on the node is empty, right? So let's edit the Felix configuration again and enable WireGuard for IPv6. And now we got public keys posted on the node status for every node. And we also have an interface on each here on every node. Let me show you here. We have this WireGuard v6 interface. It is created by Felix whenever you enable it. We could also have one for v4, but I didn't enable it just now, right? And I'm gonna skip this part here, meaning that I already created and we have a deployment running with Nginx. I'm planning to ping it actually. You can see here the let me figure out which interface I want to run a TCP dump and then a ping. I already have like some old output here, right? So let's sorry. So means I have to run TCP dump on this index 22 interface, which is this v, which is exactly what is happening here, right? Let me, all right, sorry. And now let's create a BusyBox pod. And let's ping the Nginx IPv6 address. And you can see here, that's probably. We can see, definitely see something going, like something wrong here. Did I not use the correct? Sorry, when I did it at like minutes before the meeting, everything worked fine. I think. Oh. ETH0's interface. Oh man.
Sorry, Pedro. So is that correct? You're running the TCP dump on your host, so
yeah,
oh.
yeah, it's
Okay.
on my host because I wanted to get the encrypted. I was what I did run. I could show the history if I have scroll history yet still for that. But what did happen is I could show the encrypted packets going on the port that we have for the WireGuard listening port that we have for IPv6, which is this 51821. It's just for some reason not happening right now, and I'm terribly confused because it should. Maybe, I didn't do anything different, so I'm not sure if this will. Oh, there it was. We could see. I'm not sure if this was a thing, but yeah, we can definitely see it happening here. 51821. Sorry guys, I guess Murphy's Law. But that's mostly it. We're in the final validations, fixing a couple of bugs, and it should go out on 3/24.
Awesome. Thanks for showing us that. And yeah, don't worry about any hiccups. It happens every time anybody does.
Yeah.
Sweet. Anybody have any questions for Pedro, or any questions about kind of the feature or anything about how that works?
I'm new to the VPP. What's your implementation plan on VPP? Say, for example, a couple release later, or like I look at the doc, say still like early stage, and then not for production. Can you tell us more about VPP?
This would be a question for Nathan, I guess.
So your question is the state of the integration, or
I look at the
okay.
doc page on VPP, say still not for production. So what kind of roadmap we are talking about? Like when will we be able to use it, things like that?
So
And if you have any performance comparison, the benefit, like need to show the people the benefit to use VPP, right? Like if you have any benchmark, then we would like to read it.
we did a few presentations during the past. So we've been working on this integration for 2 years now, and so we did a few presentations during that that time period with various performance benchmarks. So the places where it shines are crypto throughput and PPS mostly. And we were kindly awarded the beta status by the Calico team for the last release. So right now we are working at hardening the integration. We are working on so trying to set up first production environments, so deploying it in production environments or pre-production environments internally for some projects. So it's not yet in a state where it's widely adopted and used, but we are working on shipping actual projects on it in the coming couple of months, let's say. And so our goal is to be able to get to a point where it's considered GA in a couple of releases, but that will depend on whether we find bugs, hopefully no, whether people are satisfied with the features, with the performance levels, and there still are a lot of things to put a lot of efforts to put into it. So that's the status. If you want to have a look at the presentation, if you go on the fd.io website, there is a section where with the talks, and the latest talks are featured on there. And if you search for Calico VP, you will find a few talks. There was one at FOSDEM this year, I think.
Okay.
Goes a bit into the detail.
Okay,
On,
thank you, Nate.
Yeah, thanks, Nate. I just reshared my screen because I wanted to show it working now. We can see now the ping packets come in encrypted from source and destination WireGuard ports.
The demo goes finally are we're good.
Awesome. I'm glad that that worked. Cool. Anybody else have any questions? Otherwise, we'll move on. Lawrence, do you want to go, or do you want me to go?
Sure, I can go. It'll be pretty
Great.
quick, so
Cool.
I can just do this. right now. Can you see my screen? Okay. Yeah, so I worked on the operator component configuration changes for 3.4. It's awesome to work on some operator work. In June, we opened this enhancement issue to kind of bring forth this proposal on some of these changes that we want to make. And these changes are basically just improvements, UX improvements to allow users to customize their Calico installation. And as you can see here, we've got a ton of issues from the community. They wanted to set custom labels, they want to set resources for the API server container, all sorts of things. And so we made this proposal. We wanted to add the option to add custom annotations and labels, to override the node affinity, and to add custom node selectors, to override tolerations, min-range seconds, and container resources. And we added a bunch of new fields to the operator API. And I'll show that in a second, but let me just do a quick demo and just show you. Cluster's working. Great. Pedro dealt with the demo gods, hopefully. So my cluster is working. Yep. So if I edit my installation here, you'll see, and sorry, let me just go back to here. And just as an example, and the implementation is mostly what you see here. So we've added some top level fields to the installation spec, one for each Calico component. So the Calico node daemon set, Calico queue controllers. Let me just show the docs here. It's a little bit wordy now. For example, there's the Calico queue controls deployment, Calico node daemon set, and each of these has all of the specific fields that I mentioned that you can override. Affinity, node selector, correlations. And so, yeah, if I update the spec of this, and I just paste this in because it's a lot. And you'll see I pasted in this field, and I'm overriding the annotations, not overriding, I'm merging, I'm adding my custom metadata here. I'm setting the min-ready seconds. And actually, before I do this, let me just show you that there's none of that right now. So this is my current Calico node daemon set, and you see there's no custom labels. Yeah, I don't, just some annotations. There's no min-ready seconds, for example. I don't see it. No affinity is set. You get the idea. So here I've set a bunch of different things. These values are probably not valid. So for example, I've set an empty, no, that's actually not right. I don't want an empty affinity. I want to set this affinity. So that's just, the standard Linux OS affinity. I've set some dummy node selectors, tolerations, and set the resources for the Calico node container. And I've just set some other fields just to show that these, there's more. I'm just going to save this. And if I look at, so that worked. And if I look at the daemon set now, you'll see I've got the demo annotation, the label, min-ready seconds is set now. The template, the pod template spec level annotation and labels are set now. One thing to note about the behavior of these fields is in some cases, and you'll have to look at the installation docs for the details, but some of these fields will override, will just completely replace what the operator would have by default. Some other fields like the labels and annotations, those are actually merged. So if there's a label or annotation the operator will set by default, you wouldn't be able to set that. For example, like you wouldn't be able to override this label, for example, the standard app kubernetes.io/name label. But yeah, you see that the affinity is set and resource is set. And so that's basically it. That's the demo. What else is there to say? Let me go back to this. There's a few things that are missing from this proposal. If you look at this, one of the components that's not here that was added, that support was added for, was the Calico Windows upgrade daemon set, and that's not super applicable for this discussion. I mean, it's mainly for AKS, and it's primarily for upgrades from open source to enterprise. And the other thing I'll just say quickly is that I didn't add an example for the API server configuration changes. And so if you wanted to modify the API server, you'd have to do that in the API server resource, not the installation resource. Yeah, so that's it. There's a couple things that are coming. Support for migration of manifest installs is not here yet. So the operator supports the migration of manifest installs of Calico to the operator. And so if you have these custom labels and stuff, right now the operator wouldn't migrate that to the installation or API server resources for you right now, but that's coming in the patch release for 3.24. And yeah, not applicable to this discussion, but they'll be coming to the enterprise components as well. So we'll be able to do this in Calico Enterprise. Yeah, that's it. Does anyone have any questions?
Looks good. Thanks, Lawrence.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thanks, Matt.
Awesome.
Over to you.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at the time going like, it's probably not enough time to do that. So probably I can do that on probably a following community meeting. So unless anybody really wanted to see it, but we'll do that. We'll do that next community meeting, probably after the features release, so people can play with it as well. But yeah, I think kind of in the interest of time, I'll probably call it here. So yeah, thanks everybody for showing up to this community.
I got a last minute question.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
First time here. So things in this meeting is confidential or public. I can talk about it in social media. I cannot talk about it. Can you tell me?
It's public. Like we'll post this is. I hope you noticed this meeting is being recorded, and we put it. It goes on the Calico YouTube channel.
Okay.
So yeah.
Got
And
it.
the notes that I was taking are, well, anybody can edit them even, so
Okay.
they're that public.
Yeah, if you're excited about any of the things that you saw or heard today, please share them as much as you want, because
yeah, like Nathan just showed me the VPP presentation. I want to show more people because I don't know about it. I don't know how many people outside know about it. So like those are the things I'm trying to share with my followers.
Nathan and Casey, or well, I think Nathan, you did a presentation with Casey at for a conference, right?
We did one with Casey. We did one with Chris. So a couple with Chris as well.
It was the one with Eloise, I guess. Casey and Eloise.
Okay. Casey was with Eloise. Yeah.
Yeah. So Walter, if you're
Yeah.
interested, you might be able to get some stuff to you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks everybody, and I guess we'll call it there. So see you guys later.
Thank you.
Thanks everybody.
See you guys.